Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. I'm trying to get Instagram to go live. I don't know if that's going to work. Alright, first and foremost, welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. I'm going to do a martial art demonstration and then I'm going to call it a day. It's raining outside, so that's no demonstrations outside. First and foremost, you should never ever twirl your weapons in the house under any circumstances without the proper room, which I actually do not have. So we're going to be taking some chances here. Alright? So I'm going to work on doing some weapons for you. Kamas. You'll never do that in a real fight. Training nunchucks. My bow staff that I worked on the other day, made out of bamboo. Let's hope not to drop it this time like I did on TikTok. You guys can go find me at JW_GrayWolf616. Bamboo still hurts. And finally, my hula hoop that simulates the iron rings. Alright, so I'm going to make them in short bursts. Instagram will get the whole video. YouTube, I'm going to stop between weapons. Alright? So, we're going to start off with the most difficult stuff first, which is the kamas. This way I can make a... You know what? Maybe I'll just do them all. That way I don't have to stop. I had to rethink that for a minute. So, I think I'm just going to do them all. Add some kung fu moves in. And call it a day. So we're going to start with the kamas first because they're the heaviest, and these, even though they're training weapons, they're solid wood. So something can definitely go wrong. I don't want to break anything down here, so that's going to be an issue. Move some stuff. That way nothing gets broken or damaged. And so when stuff like that happens, nothing gets hurt outside of my foot. Alright, so first and foremost, kamas started off as garden tools. Alright? And yes, it is a ninja weapon, and yes, they actually originated in China, not Japan. And the thing about martial arts is you have to understand that working your weapon. A weapon is an extension of yourself. It is not the be-all of all things. Because if you don't have a weapon, then you better be able to fight without the damn thing. Understand how that works. Now, for kamas, you have your placement of your hands. Some people have small kamas that are stopped about right there. I prefer those, but only if they have the rope, so that if you're going to whirl them, you can whirl them and pray like hell you don't cut your own damn hands off. And the reason why I tell you guys this stuff, like, you're going to do that with a real kama, there's a good chance that you're going to lose the bulk of your hand. There's a really good chance that that's going to happen and you're going to stab yourself in the leg. I did not drop this thing on purpose. I'm just letting you know, real kamas are sharp as fuck. You will never see me whirl my real kamas because I'm not trying to injure myself, trying to be a badass. Alright? So just in case you don't know, whirling your weapons does not make you a badass. And there's almost absolutely positively no decent way or shape or form that you will ever get the chance or have a reason to whirl these things in an actual fight. This here, you're never going to do that. Never. You might do that so that your blades are facing your opponent. But as far as like that, nah. Because if you see me grab this, it's a good chance that when I do that, I won't have a hand. Because kamas are razor sharp. Alright? If you didn't know kamas are razor sharp, now you know. These are wooden with silver tape on them so that I can train outside at nighttime without losing them when I'm wearing my Scarlet Spider or my Spider-Man 2099 suit because I can't see worth shit in the dark. Let's begin. Now FYI, kamas are more attack than defense. I could be wrong, but from what I was taught, they're more attack than defense. So defending, block, 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 strike, block, strike, block, strike. You know, so you have your motions. Boom, 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 boom. Now the thing is, commas are short-range weapons. Short-range weapons require a lot of getting in. So I can't get past your sword defense. These are fucking useless. If you can't get past mine, then your sword's useless. But these are for close-range combat. Anybody who tells you differently might not know shit about commas. Or maybe I don't know shit about commas. But I can tell you right now, the actual blade is that long, and it's a small blade. You have to get in with blades. Now with a sword, not so much. Or with a comma, bing, shoot. Yeah, you got to get up in there. So you're blocking and you're gutting, because generally if you block, this is your target. Unless you want to just be lethal and get there, but you actually have to get there. Boom, boom, you know. You could say, since this is the last day of Indigenous People Month, that this could be my tomahawk, which still would require me to have to get in. So if I have two tomahawks and I'm whirling them, you know, boom, you know, I have to be able to get past your defenses. So, boom, you know, you have to know your strikes. Block, strike, block, strike, block, strike, block, strike, strike, strike. And 9 times out of 10, the karma was so sharp that once you blocked and strike, that was pretty much the end of it. However, if you're fighting somebody who has armor, because most samurais and ninjas sometimes wore armor under their shit, and almost every terracotta soldier, I didn't say that right, every terracotta soldier was in armor. Chinese warriors never really went out without their armor, unless they were like rogues, bandits, thieves, and robbers. You know, the only martial artists that I knew that didn't wear armor were Shaolin monks. Probably some bandits. But, you know, boom, 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 you know, boom, 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 boom. Too close to the camera, huh? We're done with these. Let's go with something a little bit more fast. Nunchucks. These are plastic nunchucks, so they're covered in a rubber, styrofoam, something or another casing. Still dangerous in the right hands. In a true martial artist's hands, even a toy can be dangerous. I actually need this massage because my back has been killing me all damn day. That's my trademark elbow catch. You will rarely see people do this. You will see them do that and attempt it. So, let's talk about your strikes with nunchucks. Boom, boom, boom. Nunchucks are also short-range weapons. And if not done right, you can drop them. That could happen, as you saw me recover. As you can see, my safety piece is coming off on both sides. So, you know. Again, my safety piece is coming off on both sides. So, let's go with some nunchuck defenses, shall we? Again, as a martial artist, you can take this with a grain of salt. You can choose to believe me, or you can choose not to believe me. Everything you just seen me do is more than likely you're not going to get the chance to do that shit in an actual fight. Okay? Let me explain how reality works. This shit here, great for movies. Someone's coming at you and you have nunchucks. This is what you're going to actually do versus what you just seen me do. Someone's coming at you, boom, get it back. Now, what they don't tell you in the movies, which I'm going to tell you in real life, is when this bitch hits solid muscle, or anything solid, this bitch is coming back at you. So when you hit somebody, it's coming back. So you need to have wrist control to tuck that sumbitch back. Now, if you go with one of those strikes, you need to follow through. As I did not, because this is a practice chuck. But when you hit someone, you want to follow through. And you want to make sure that if you can't stop the momentum, that you take it on the outside of your femur. Because if you take it on a rib, you're probably going to break a rib. Depending on how hard you hit that person. Time out. Sorry, y'all. Got a little choked up stealing an apple juice from a secret stash. Also, you have to worry about the multiple opponent scenario. So the guy's right here and the guy's right here. Boom! And I don't have to control it because I can just go straight to the next guy. But the problem is, when you hit something solid with these damn things, they do come right back at you. Anyone who's never fought with nunchucks does not know that shit. Anyone who has fought with nunchucks do know that shit. And in practicing also, if you practice on something solid, this bitch is coming back at you. You only have control of this and the swing. Boom, boom. You have control of the swing. So if you hit somebody solid, you know, you hit them in the face and they go down, this thing's not going to go like that. It's going to bounce right back. So you need to be able to snatch your arm back. You know, twist your wrist to bring it. Ooh, yeah, that sucked. This just isn't my day. Another reason why you don't play with nunchucks in the house. So let's work on blocks. Yes, I'm still hurt. Yes. So let's work on blocks. Boom, boom, boom. 9 times out of 10, if you have these, you're probably not going to be doing too much kicking. So boom, 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 boom. You know, you have to understand how these damn things work, man. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, you gotta understand how those things work. Because if you don't, you're gonna understand from the floor. Also, there are ways to combat people with nunchucks. In the event that your opponent has nunchucks and you do not, you have a shirt, you have a weapon. Will you actually get the chance to take your shirt off in the fight? Probably not. Well, let's say, for instance, I knew that I'm going into a fight and the guy has nunchucks. So I'm going to take my shirt. I'm going to put a little knot in the bottom of this motherfucker. I'm going to tighten it up. So now, I have an equivalent of a nunchuck. Now, for those who do not agree with that technique, it's fine. I'm not here to force you to agree with anything I say. But I'm here to show you right from wrong and pray that you choose to make the right choice. Now 9 times out of 10, when you have these things, you're not going to use a lot of fancy leg work. It's not going to be like the Ninja Circle. Boom, boom, boom. 9 times out of 10, you got these, they should be all you need, but you're going to need to be able to control that frenzy. Boom, you hit something solid, it's coming back. Boom, boom. So let's talk about your swings now. You have your mighty forward cross, backhand, down, and up. There's only so many things you can swing this way. You know, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I've worked out 1,000 scenarios with these things. But it all boils down to who you're fighting. Someone knows what they're doing with these things, they're just going to take them from you and beat the holy snot out of you. So it would be very wise to keep these things at home. Alright? Now let's go with the bow. Now, this is a bow staff that you guys see me working on today, made out of complete bamboo. So, 1, 2, strike, 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 block, 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 block. You know, you got a lot of blocks and strikes with the bow. Now, the bow, on the other hand, as much as I hate to say this, it has become factual that even with this bow, you will still have to possibly deliver a kick or a punch to someone versus the nunchucks versus the kamas. Alright? Even though the bow is long range, not this one specifically, but most bows are long range, you may have to get in there. You may have to get in there. Because you may hit the person with the bow and do little to no damage. Or, boom, boom, you may hit the person with the bow and completely incapacitate them. Which, incapacitating you from there versus incapacitating you from here works a lot better for me. Because I have range. I have time to toy with you. And 9 times out of 10, you won't be doing any of this shit while you're fighting. So, what you will be doing, block, strike, block, strike, block, strike. You won't do that. Boom. You won't do that. Boom, boom. That's pretty much all the whirling you're going to do in an actual fight with a bow staff. Now, if you're making a movie, I know, you guys don't ever see me use weapons in movies. But if you're making a movie, that's where the fancy smancy shit comes in. Whirling is good for training, alright? Because they teach you about your whole center line, or in any case, the circle that the bow makes. You have to be able to keep things from coming through that circle. That's why it's a circle. Some people got the circle up there. I prefer boom, 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 boom. And if worst comes to worst, boom, 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 boom. Always remember the guy behind you, because that's the one you never see coming. Boom, 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 boom. Now, let's talk about taking the bow from someone. If you're into weightlifting, you have wings. If you're not into weightlifting, you still have wings. Not like angel wings. The little pieces of fat that comes under here is the safest way to safely take a bow from someone without catching a raw beatdown. So if they're swinging there and you're taller, you can catch it under here. It's going to sting a bit, but you lock and you take it from them. Or you lock, you break it, and now you have a stick too. Now for that purpose, knowing a little bit of short stick fighting from Kempo doesn't hurt. And there are many stories behind the short sticks. One of my favorite legends is the one about the guy whose freaking Kwon Do got broken. Excuse me. That would be the double slice something or another. Frack that. His bow staff got broken, and it was his only weapon, his only friend, which is kind of what led into these Kempo fights. This is like a Korean legend where the dude had a bow staff. He was unstoppable with his fucking bow staff. And he came across somebody who, he still won, but he came across somebody who came down and broke his bow staff equally down the middle. So, equally down the middle, and he didn't want to get rid of his bow staff, but you can't repair wood. I mean, you can file it, but you can only take away from wood. You can't add more wood to wood. I don't know about these days, but back then, you can't take away, or better yet, you can't add more wood to broken wood. Alright? Your best bet is to just go buy a new fucking stick. Alright? Where this guy loved that stick so much that they became short sticks. So, boom, boom, boom. His bow was a badass, and he was a badass with the bow. But when his bow got broken, he had to have short sticks. God, I wish I could remember the guy's name. I know he's Korean, because my Kempo that I learned was Korean and Japanese. I didn't know the Shaolin Kempo actually existed. But I learned Kempo from Korea and Japan. Or at least that's the Kempo that I learned. The teacher was not an Asian man. Anyway, my Kempo teacher was a white dude. My Japanese karate, Naharate, and Taekwondo teacher was also a white dude. 2 different white dudes. But anyway, God rest your soul, Master Ennis, and to the Korean teacher of Kempo, and the Japanese teacher of Kenpo who used to date my bro's mother-in-law. Thank you. Anyway, the whole thing is, because he taught me about pressure points too, but I was learning pressure points when I was doing Kung Fu, so it doesn't really matter. But the point of the matter is, the bow staff got broken in half, and it became short sticks. So, he had to get better with his bow, even though he couldn't fix it. And back then, whew, they also did not have duct tape. So there. Alright, finally. So I can call it a night, because my laptop's about to die, and so is my cell phone. The Iron Rings is part of Wushu and Wing Chun, as well as Shaolin Kung Fu, and a variety of others. I do not have the Iron Ring, I have a fucking hula hoop. Okay? But the hula hoop represents the Iron Rings, which also represents a shield, as well as a slicing device. Only it wasn't sharp, but generally when it comes to getting cut, it's the force behind the blade versus the sharpness of the blade in many cases. In some cases, it's the sharpness of the blade, because those are the cases where you never really feel yourself getting cut, like a paper cut, versus a knife. I think the fear of being cut by a knife makes it easy for you to fear it and feel it a lot faster than not noticing a paper cut until you wash your hands with soap and water. Now the thing about the Iron Rings, there's more than one version. You have the big versions, and then you have the little ones that go around your wrist. Yes, I know that too. Because it's really simple wushu, where you're blocking with them and you're grappling, but the rings are to prevent someone from grappling you. That's just one part of that. They also are like gauntlets, so that you can protect yourself from swords. And they're also weapons where if someone grabs one and it slides this way, you lock your hand and then you thrust into them so you can catch them in the face. There's a lot more to it. If I had the actual rings, I could actually show you versus using this damn hula hoop. Now the big ring, the one the hula hoop represents, comes from the butterfly technique as well as the rings itself. It's rarely ever exploited now. But this thing is actually more of a shield than a sword, you know, because you can protect yourself diving in and out of the ring. Understand how that works? Hopefully I'm not going so fast that y'all can't catch what I'm doing. And if you don't, then you can try to slow this shit down. But boom, 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 boom. And in my younger days, I was a lot faster. But there are movies that exploit this kind of thing. Old age, got caught up. So, you know, you can figure it out. Bing, bing, bing also works really good with snake and crane. So, I'm old. My moves get twisted. So here, here, here. Not so much with Dragon and Tiger. This is Dragon. This is Tiger. Hard to keep a grip with that, but with Snake and Crane, it just rolls. Constantly rolls. You can also use it with Mantis. You know. Because Mantis is really close to Snake and Crane. Plus, you gotta be pretty limber to use the actual iron ring. The hula hoop works great for training. For training. I don't recommend you try to fight with a plastic hula hoop unless it's a goddamn emergency. And so, that being said, you know, gut. So, hit, hip, pull. So it'd be like boom, boom, pull. And you see me throw the knee in there. Because that would be a whole lot more effective than hit, pull, and then try to do something different. So, you know, gut, hit, pull, step, step, release them. You know, gut, hit, pull, knee, release. There's a lot more I could do with this if I actually had a training partner. But COVID, and no one's brave enough to actually let me demonstrate. So that being said, I hope I did something to enhance your abilities or whatever. So thank you for watching. Celebrate Indigenous Day, Indigenous Month, Indigenous. If you are partially Native American like me, this is why I made this video, so that you guys can have some martial arts to look at, but also to celebrate the last day of Indigenous Peoples Month. So I am part Cherokee. I'm also part black and part white. I don't really put too much into Black History Month, and there's no White History Month that I know of. If there is, I'll have to find out. But I was like pretty much deprived of my Native American heritage for a very long time, so I'm trying to play catch up. Thanks for watching Instagram. Thanks for watching Kung Fu Havoc #2. And that shit, there we go. Be seeing ya.